You're listening to The Hardpoint with Onexpunchxdad and Code Rome's.
Welcome to the Hardpoint episode number 36, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh. I go by Onexpunchxdad online.
My name is Cody. I go by Murda.
Oh, we're switching it up? I didn't know that was an option tonight.
Murda.
Murda.
See Murda.
Hit me up on all the platforms, Murda.
Yeah. You won't find me under any of those, but...
Have you done anything to, like, warrant that name? You done some murder?
What, like murder?
Yeah.
No. My buddy Dylan, one of his many nicknames, pretty much any nickname I have, I credit him to it, but one of them is Murd.
What's up?
C-Murd or C-Murda.
What's up, Murda? That's
kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I
like
get
it.
with that.
Should I change? Should I kill Rome's?
No, man. I mean, you know, you got to keep it in the background. It's
put it in the Rolodex.
Where you came from,
my
you know
nicknames.
what I mean? But, you know, we can slowly raise up Murda, you know what I mean?
What would be, I've never asked you about that. That's kind of interesting on your name. I know where it comes from, like One Punch Man, but did you put a lot of thought into coming up with that? And if you could change it, not necessarily would you, but do you have like any other names in the chamber that you're like, that'd be a pretty cool name if I didn't already have one?
I just never really thought about it. Well, I picked it before it kind of blew up, right? Like I think I changed my Instagram handle because it used to just be my name. It was like Josh Green TX because I'm from Texas, and that was like my username for like my car insurance and everything. And I was like, let's go, let's amp it up a little bit. And I had been watching One Punch Man at the time, so I was like. And I'm a bald guy, so it's like Onexpunchxdad.
It's pretty interesting that you picked a name, didn't really ever anticipate gaining any like fame or notoriety, and then you did, and then you just kind of like had that name.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I feel like choose a name, and whether they ever actually like gain a platform or not, they pick a name with the anticipation of this is going to be my name.
I think so. Like I've seen other creators kind of in the creator space or whatever. Rebrand a little bit, like they'll come out and they have a name that they probably picked the same way. They're like, that's just a neat Instagram handle, and then all of a sudden they got, you know, people kind of like flocking their way and wanting to like collab with them and stuff, and they're like, well, Ding Dong 88 probably isn't the name I want to go down in history with, so time to switch it up. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But no, I'm sticking it out, man. I'm Onexpunchxdad for life, baby.
No, Onexpunchxdad is sick.
Yeah,
I like it.
I know we're not wearing the same color shirt, but I think because of lighting and everything, you're wearing a gray shirt. I'm
not. How do you know we're not wearing the same color?
Is that a gray shirt? Or
this is like a green shirt.
Is it a green?
Like light green.
Okay, so I'm wearing I'm still wearing my coyote brown undershirt that I wear for work. Because I was just too lazy to change. And also, I've been watching our episodes back and realizing, like, I'm not fully thrilled with the way my T-shirt rotation has been. I was like, well, I have never worn one of my Coyote Browns on the cast, so I'll rock that.
I feel like you've been pretty good about the button shirt, a little open. You've been wearing some fun shirts. I
have some good summer button-down shirts, like so I have some Hawaiian shirts that I really enjoy. You know, they're nice and breezy, they're nice and cool.
Yes. Well, the size of rotations of my shirts that you see on the show, which is rather small, is just my size of rotation of shirts in general. I don't have a lot of shirts I wear.
I feel like you have a normal amount, but you also, like, how often does the typical T-shirt owner have to like cut a video once a week and talk for an hour?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And if you have like 5 to 7 shirts, the odds are that at that same time each week, you might be wearing that same shirt.
That's true.
And it's not like this is the only shirt I ever wear, but it's just like I have about a week's worth of shirts.
You wear a lot of you wear Metallica a lot. I feel like that's probably your only, like, if it's an offense, that's probably the only one. Like, I want to keep a chart and see what the average time between like episodes that you wear a Metallica shirt is, because I think it's probably not more than 5.
No.
I'd say
I do have like shirts that I wear for the show and not necessarily out. Or I feel like my gym shirts and my show shirts, there's quite a bit of overlap there.
Yeah. We should intentionally for the next few episodes wear shirts that we would automatically be like, that's not a stepping out shirt. That's not a podcast shirt. We should wear our ugly shirts.
Ugly shirts?
Ugly shirt. Like the shirt that's like, no one should see me in this.
Like that doesn't leave the house?
Yeah. Those are the shirts we should be wearing on this show.
Okay. Next week. Tune in.
The people demand
Be sure not to miss that one.
Yeah. So I've been doing.
Welcome to the Epi.
Yeah, welcome to the Sode, bro.
Oh, we didn't tease.
We didn't tease. That's true. Thank you for catching that. Today we're actually gonna kind of take a knee from like picking topics or like grasping at straws, trying to find something to talk about, which is actually kind of our topic today. We are going to end the show. It's over. We're wrapping it up. We're closing it down. I'm just kidding. We're gonna take a knee and we're gonna kind of talk housekeeping and kind of just do like a State of the Union type thing, kind of see where we're at. Not in a effort to decide if we want to keep doing it. We know we want to keep doing it, but we have kind of been struggling to find what we want the show to truly represent and be about. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. If you've been following the Hardpoint for a long time, you know we've kind of jumped around. We've done some different things. We've kind of tried things. We're still very much in our maiden phase, I think. But we're trying to find some more distinct direction, if that makes sense. So we're going to talk about that today. Maybe a little inside baseball on the podcast, a little peek behind the curtain, but
a little El Bombay.
A little El Bombay. Did you watch the home run derby?
No. Did you see that drunk lady sing the national anthem?
That's the only thing anyone's going to take away from this home run derby, because the guy who won I don't really care about. I think he plays for not Kansas City. Kansas City was the second place guy. I don't even know who won. I know
Colorado Rocky.
I know Adolis Garcia didn't win, which is a bummer. Anyway, yeah. That national anthem was rough. Listen. I feel very bad for for that person. I really, really do. It's hard not to want to make a joke and be cynical, because it was bad. But I feel terrible for her, because she's gonna get. That's all anyone's gonna remember from her.
Did you see it live?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I was actually like right before the show today. I was searching for topics to talk about. Maybe I shouldn't reveal that. How last minute I was like, I wasn't. We had this thing figured out a long time ago.
Yeah, locked in.
I was looking for things that happened, and it that was one thing that popped up. What I actually found first was the article saying that did you see she checked into rehab the next day?
I did. So she posted some like a story or Snapchat or something today, I think. I was saying I'm gonna be real with y'all. I was drunk, and then she checked into some kind of center to get help for alcoholism and kind of stuff, which is good, I think. If it was just a situation where she was just drunk, like normal people drunk,
right?
Maybe that's not the move, but
is it an overreaction? I guess I don't have all the context, but like if you have that way, yes, it's not a great look, but like
no, I
need rehab after that.
It does. I mean, if you're doing it on such a public stage as the world famous home run derby, it might have been some kind of publicity thing where some lawyers or a publicist came in and was like, hey, you might want to like cover your tracks a little bit. We did at the office today. We did pull up some of her like other videos. She's like apparently a country music singer. Not huge, but
bigger or smaller than Hawk Tuah girl?
Actually smaller. I think everyone's smaller than her at this point. You need to get one of your big brothers or sisters to help you. Okay.
So I can't open it.
Here, I'll open it, but you cannot pour this. You'll spill it. when a 5-year-old brings you a full bottle of juice. Hey, bring me a cup. Bring me a cup. Let's do it that way. Anyway, no, she's not. She's not. Not to, whatever, bring her down a peg or anything, but she's not very known to me anyway. I don't follow country or pop country anyway, so there's that. But anyway, we looked at her other stuff. She's not terrible. She's definitely using auto-tune. Go put this in the fridge and then come back and get your juice. She's not great. Like, even if she was really, really good, it still wouldn't be like my type of music, as you know. I think it was a mix of nerves and I guess apparently the being drunk. But yeah, she really... Yeah. Hey, shut the door, please. All right, thanks.
Quite crazy. Yeah. I feel bad for her, too. I don't want to dog on her or anything, but it was tough.
Yeah,
It's a tough one.
It's one of those things. I definitely like, I don't like kicking people when they're down, but yeah, that certainly happened. It's like we're always like thinking like current events, right? Like we want to hit on like, like, hey, NBA Finals or this happened or the Game Awards, whatever. The president or the former president got shot in the ear.
Yep.
And so that's probably like, if we would just want to be topical right out of the gate, we talk about that, right? I don't want to talk about that. Option B is this girl blowing it, singing the national anthem at the home run derby. So it's like, well, holy hell.
Which one?
Yeah. I don't want to talk.
We don't have to talk.
Neither.
We don't have to talk about the Trump, but it cannot be understated how wildly close that was to like the biggest news story of our lifetime.
So bro definitely got like 1 HP off of Donnie T. There was definitely like the Call of Duty like hit marker, like like that.
Yep, just the one. Just the one little
yeah, definitely like being real, like I don't want to be cynical, like I don't want to see anyone shot. There were cameras rolling, there were kids there were families there.
Yeah.
That's not obviously and that's really all I want to say about that. I'm not really thrilled about any of the presidential options this year, so we'll just leave it out there.
I would have been worried to see. I feel like that would have caused such a spiral, man.
Yeah.
Not even like positioning for or against him, but if he were to be assassinated, man, like that, I don't even want to see what the aftermath would look like. So, I just feel like the world would be very scary for a while following that.
It would be very tense. And like I remember like my mom was a young girl when like Kennedy got shot, and she has memories of that. Like, these kids, man, stop, quit, knock it off. Sawyer knows the camera's rolling. She's like, I gotta get some of that. Like Martin Luther King getting shot or any of the Kennedys that have been shot, you know what I mean? John Lennon, anything like that. Like, I'm sure I don't, to my recollection, I have not lived through a like big assassination. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I think Reagan got shot in like 82. It was before I was born. But anyway, I say all that to say this. Absolutely, yes, it would absolutely be scary. The most, I don't want to say interesting, the most intriguing part of this whole thing has been the after-the-fact craziness that has wrapped the internet up.
Yeah.
The craziest thing to me of which is Tenacious D being on stage together. Between songs, someone says something about the attempt on Trump's life, and Kyle Gass, the non-Jack Black half of Tenacious D, says something along the lines of like he should have aimed better, or like something like essentially being like, yeah, I wish he would have got him. And, and Jack Black, who's a Hollywood guy, like he obviously like probably is a little more left than right, if I had to guess. Is like shocked and has to go in after and tweet out like, hey, I'm not
distancing.
They canceled the rest of the Tenacious D tour that they're on. Stuff like that to me is like, that only happens in 2024. There's only one place.
Did you see, is there like a video of him like all that happening that you saw?
I think there is video of that. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But yeah, like that to me is like yowzer. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And then like it's like that coupled with, you know, hundreds and hundreds of like my entire feed, like I follow a lot of other military creators, and it was kind of, I don't want to say cringy because I'm not mad at them for it, but it was very like alarming, I guess, to see how quickly they went in and were just memifying this kind of real scary situation,
Right.
and turning it into, and I mean, like he ended up being okay. Another person was shot. Another person was shot and killed. So it's not necessarily not a tragedy, right? Like a person died. Another person, you know, the shooter, like I don't necessarily, like when a shooting happens like this, I don't necessarily move in and like, oh, the shooter, oh, what happened?
Right.
You know, but it is sad to think that an individual would snap.
Right.
You know, like that kind of stuff is. So anyway, the cynicism in the wake of this thing has been just kind of like.
Yeah. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody had an opinion before this.
They did.
But this really just brings out the no chill in everybody.
It does. It's like.
I want to see his ear, man. I'm excited for the next. Like, is he going to have like just part of it missing or like.
Yeah, I did see a picture of him. He's got like a little like pillow bandage on it. Very, very neatly kept, not like oozing.
What if next time we see him, he has a new hairdo where it's like covers his ears?
Hey, man, if Donnie T is the guy I think he is, he's gonna wear that little notch.
Yeah.
What if it is like? I wonder if is it like just like nicked it and there's gonna be a little like divot in there, or if it's straight up like, you know, that little curve in your ear. If it like went through that, and he's gonna have like like if you could.
It was a good amount of blood, like, and you can see in the video he grabs his ear when it happens. Like it was enough for it to bleed as much as it did, and him. Like I feel like if it barely nicked him, you're not gonna hardly feel it enough to react the way that he did. Like it looked like it went through his ear or took off a good piece of it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy, man.
It's pretty nutty, and
it can't be understated just how close that was.
It really was.
I mean, you get your ear shot, dude. That is
someone joked, they were like, dude, Trump's gonna like have this big awakening and be super woke and like about the people after this. I was like, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's gonna keep doing him. That's okay. That's about all I want to say.
We're not going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Before people start moving in like, hey. I don't care. Anyway.
We said nothing hard either way, so fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that feels like the perfect time to segue into some crushage. I'll kick it to you, man. What have you been crushing?
I got something next week. Definitely tune in for this segment, if nothing else. If you do nothing else next week, be here at this time next week for this segment. I got a little something for you.
Crushing. Right. I'm so excited.
Little crushing. Okay.
Did
you throw it to me? Am I going first?
Yeah, man. It's all you. You're
okay.
Up.
So I'm going to start with what you're going to be least interested in, and then I'll move to what you're going to be most interested in. I've been listening to, and I'm confident you hate this band, and their new stuff is absolute hot fucking garbage. But at one point in my life, this was my favorite band, and they've always kind of stuck with me. The first 3 albums. I've been listening to Avenged Sevenfold. I know. Now,
go on.
Specifically, have you ever listened to any of them at all at any point in your life?
When I got into music back in like good music, back in like 2004, 2005, I think they had a song that was like
Unholy Confessions
off
of Waking the Fallen.
Yeah, yes. And that was kind of back when they were well and truly like a metalcore band.
Yeah.
So I did like that song. I think it was on like a Trust Kill compilation or something that I had.
Yeah.
But no, not be. I did like the solo part, not the whole song of Can't stop
That country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The solo on that part, or on that song rather, is absolutely wicked. I don't care for that. Anyway, I'm not trying. I don't want.
Yeah.
We're
going to the sky. To our life.
I'm practicing not pooping on the things that Cody brings to What Are You Crushing. So
hey, man,
I've probably time for me to
I've been known to walk out on a limb or two, and I shamelessly am going to bring. I'm not doing. This is not here to convince anybody. But City of Evil, their third album, I love it, man. I loved it since forever, and I love it to this day. I love it so much that if I had to do the exercise, like you get 5 albums on a island for the rest of your life, City of Evil would take up one of those spots.
Yeah.
It might be in my like top 5 favorite albums of all time. It's definitely in my top 5 most listened to albums of all time, without a doubt.
Wow.
I come back to it semi-regularly, and it always fucking slaps. And it is way before... Dude, since I've gotten back into them recently, I have tried to listen to their new stuff. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't want to hate on a band like evolving and changing their sound. I'm not like, you need to sound like your first 3 albums your entire career. It's not even like that. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So I don't hate on it, but I don't know. I don't connect with it. I don't like it. I don't know what it is.
I think.
But their first 3, I love. Not to be the guy that's like, their old shit's better.
Old stuff's better. I think
yes,
it is. That does happen to a lot of bands, though, and I think it goes like one of 2 ways. Like, you either pull like, I hate to keep bringing. I feel like we bring up Metallica once a week right now, but like Metallica has had like on the chart of their like which way I'm going based on my camera, the ups and downs of their, we'll call it their latter years, right? Like everything since, I would say, Load has been their latter years, right?
Right.
So, and everything from like Saint Anger through Death Magnetic to the one they just put out. Not, what is it called? 72 Seasons. Ups and downs, right? Some of it's really good. Some of it's really not that good. But, and then you have other bands that seem to like Parkway Drive is a perfect example of a band that was like, let's abandon everything that makes us unique.
Right.
Everything that makes us stand apart, or at least a really good part of what we came from, right? The hardcore metalcore scene, and just be a trash rock band.
Right. Yeah.
And I see that a whole lot.
I think so. And yes, the Metallica comparison is great because I hate when people are like, their first 4 albums are good, everything after that's trash. Because everything, like, they have great music post Black Album.
Yeah.
Great music.
Absolutely.
Some of their best stuff, in my opinion. And so I don't want to be the guy that expects a band to sound the same their entire career. But past City of Evil, I don't get it. I don't like it. But the first 3 albums are fucking awesome. And I think they get a lot of hate for being like corny and shit because they have their stage names and they're very like the shit they wear. And I don't know. Like, I think they're easy to kind of pick on now.
I like the pageantry, but the pageantry has to match the music. Like,
sure,
you know, if you're going to wear a mask or wear makeup or don a character or whatever, it's like Ghost. Ghost, to me, they can drop the act at this point. They've gotten progressively dumber and less fun to listen to as time has gone on, to the point that it's like, y'all could just be 8 dudes at this point. Like, you know, when they were coming out with like Cerise and all that stuff, like that stuff was
that
like,
one was badass.
Cool. All right, this is a vibe. And now it's kind of like the one I hear the most is like Scooby-Doo music, and I think that is pretty accurate for Ghost.
Right.
But yeah, in the case of Avenged Sevenfold, I would have to say I will meet you in the middle and say, yeah, there's probably some bangers on those first 3 albums. I think, I don't know if you could pay me enough money to listen to them now.
I wouldn't ask you to. It's just fun, dude. The City of Evil album is so much fun. The fucking drumming. So their drummer died in 2009, the Rev. Dude sounds like he has 8 limbs. Like I've never heard drumming like him. And that whole album is some of my favorite drumming ever. I don't know. I really enjoy it. Now there is something to be said whether or not I like their new stuff, they are still relevant in some space, going on 20 years. So I'd still give them credit for, like, I don't know, man, having a band for 20 years at all.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking hard.
I would imagine when they go out there, hopefully they're playing stuff like, what is it, backcountry and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. And they're pretty much all original members. The drummer that died, they've exchanged him a couple times, but the other 4 have been there since the first album. And we've talked, I love that about bands. Like, if you can keep your original members, that is awesome to me.
Cody's all about keeping the boys together, man.
I am. Man, yeah, I like that. Anyways,
we were watching Creed videos after the podcast last week, and I don't know why.
No, we weren't.
Cody wanted me to watch it, and
shut up.
The drummer they were on like the Today Show or whatever the fuck, and I was like, oh, that's their original drummer, and Cody was like, really?
Dude, I love it. I don't know why. I don't like bands that just switch pieces out. You're no longer that band to me.
That's kind of why
operating under the same name.
That's kind of why I've kind of slowly like moved away from bands like Norma Jean, because that there are 0 original members, and not even that.
Right.
Like even in the past 5 years, like they've had like mass like changeover to the point where it's like now not even
it's just a bunch of dudes.
The non-original non-members are now gone. Like it's just legitimately like 5 random guys up there playing.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's original members it doesn't get any cooler than that.
It matters. Like, personality matters in a group, you know what I mean? So
plus getting to know them, like if you listen to them for a while and you're fans through different albums coming out, it's cool to listen to older stuff and know these are still the same guys playing on this album that are playing on the new stuff that I like.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or like, you know, like it's a rare thing, but like getting the opportunity to meet an artist who writes songs that you enjoy and you know, like that you listen to on a regular basis, like that is absolutely a big deal to be able to like assign kind of like a person to that thing, you know?
Right.
So I'm with you, man.
Anyway, A7X took up enough time. I'll make this one a little shorter. So The Boys. We've already talked about this a couple episodes. I don't really even want to have a deep conversation because I'm not done. I have one more episode in season 3. So I'll be starting season 4 very soon.
Nice. So you've been cruising through season 3, man.
I've been cruising. We actually have a good schedule, my wife and I, with the newborn, which allows me to watch like 1 or 2 episodes in the evening while I'm on baby duty and she's sleeping, and then my wife can step out. So it's actually worked out very well. I don't want to talk details. I don't want anything to get ruined. I'm enjoying my experience, but I just want to say, I hate how long it took me to come back around to this show. It's a 10 out of 10. It's got, we were texting at certain points in this. There's stuff happening on screen that I'm like, I've never seen that ever. My mind never even conceived anything like that being possible.
Told you, bro.
It's so good. I hate that it took me so long. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's just every episode. There's no, like, it is just from moment to moment drawing you in. Over these 2 seasons I've watched, 2 and 3, I swear there hasn't been a 5-minute span where I'm like losing interest.
Resting
like it
easy.
has me the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time.
I've been giving some thought because I watched it while my family was gone. It was just me in the house. Because that's certainly not something that I want my kids like hearing. They'd be calling me like a cunt, you know.
The hero-gasm?
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, stuff like that, right?
I saw the butthole. Dude, every time I was watching it, I just heard Josh in the background in my head saying, "There's a butthole on screen at some point."
Watch for the butthole.
And I every second have been like, "Where's this butthole coming from?"
There it is.
There it is.
Found
There's
it.
the butthole.
Yeah. Dude.
I thought they were going to show something nastier.
Oh, yeah, ain't seen season 4 yet, man. No, it's I'm thinking about watching it over again. I'm thinking about straight up like seeing if my wife is interested. If not, I'm probably just gonna run it back on my own at some point.
I'd like to watch season 1 again. I think.
Yeah.
It's been long enough. I think it'd still be a kind of a new experience. Now, my wife, in passing, anything that she's watched, I swear the worst parts are happening when she happens to be. I've gotten so many comments from her. What the fuck are you watching?
Yeah. Do you ever get like your name Cody? Like you made it. Like you're the one who did it.
Dude, one point the deep is fucking an octopus or something, and she walks by. And she's like, "Is he fucking a fish?" Like, yeah. Well, he is a fish, but yeah. Man, Anthony Starr.
He's great.
Incredible actor, man. The range of emotions that you see him go through he's awesome, man. His acting is crazy. So is not even like a great character, but her acting. The redhead CEO girl of Vought that's trying to like control everybody.
Ashley.
Yeah.
So
dude, her acting is phenomenal too.
I have to like it's one of those times where you have to step back and be like, I hate her. She's doing a good job. Like she absolutely is amazing in that role at being absolutely like I don't like her. I don't like her, Cody.
Frenchie got puffy in season 3. Did you notice that? Not to weight shame, but he he got a little maybe you know. Got a little puffy.
So okay, I've heard that I actually watched a TikTok about the other guy, Mother's Milk or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in the video. It was like a men's health video, and he was looking at himself in like the promotional material for season 3, and he was like, "Yeah, I was fat because we filmed that during COVID, and I was just eating burgers and pizza the whole time."
Oh,
and so.
Okay.
I guess maybe they were throwing down on some DoorDash while they were filming season 3, but
maybe so.
Yeah.
I had a couple, like 4 more bullet points. I just wanted to issue.
Okay.
As we're talking here, there are some tiny spoilers here. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Temp V, fucking awesome.
Temp V is pretty cool. It's got some.
Temp V is awesome.
It's got some side effects though.
It does. The way Blue Hawk dies.
Very fitting.
Pretty fucking gnarly, dude.
I like that.
Pretty fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
I just have deep fucking a fish as a note. I thought that so crazy.
Yeah.
And then the whole Black Noir thing with all the animated stuff where you're kind of learning his backstory and what
that was crazy. Yeah, and they put on a play for him basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already a cool character because he's just silent and stoic and he's just all black. I thought he was kind of cool, but you're learning. I don't think I've learned totally what happens, but you're kind of learning stuff that happened between him and Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
In the past or whatever.
Soldier Boy's a cool character too. I like the idea of like a Captain America, but it's kind of like same formula with like Superman and Homelander, but applied to like Captain America instead. So he's like the soldier out of time, but instead he comes back and he's just like mad that. You know, there are, like male and male couples walking around and stuff. Like,
one of my favorite parts is early on with Huey. He's like, you need us. He's like, do you know what the internet is? What Bluetooth is? What GPS is? And Soldier Boy looks at him. He goes, you just made those words up.
Yeah, that part is funny.
He's like, no. Did you notice that dude's voice is fucking awesome?
Yeah.
Soldier Boy, man. He just got like a deep, a deep fucking voice. It's really cool.
He's voiced Batman in something before. So
okay, well,
like animated something.
He could do it.
He's definitely he's Batman material. Yeah, man.
Anyways, that's it. I took up a lot of time, but
that's okay.
Pretty having a good time with those 2 things.
You've been up to a lot of crushing. It sounds like.
I've been crushing.
Nice. Well, mine's really short, but it actually is not.
I'll throw it to you now, Josh. What have you been crushing?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to jump the line.
No, it was too late. I didn't throw it to you. I got to be on cue.
It's all right. It's all right.
There you go.
I got it. All right. Cool. So mine's not unrelated. I actually, after I caught up, because I think there's 1 episode of season 4 left that's coming out. I think they come out Thursday. But I was still very much like craving the boys, man. Like it was definitely like in that mode. I tried watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, but a lot of the first two or 3 season stuff was all like shot telephonically because of COVID and stuff. So a lot of the behind the scenes are like, it's like them in a video, you know what I mean? Which is like, it's not very riveting. It's just them kind of talking about the show. Right. Anyway. So I didn't really get into that, but there is an offshoot of The Boys. There's a couple of offshoots. There's one called Gen V, which is like basically like a superhero high school in the Boys universe.
Oh, okay.
I have not watched that one. I'm kind of interested in it. I've been stopped short. I'm not sure why. But the other thing that they have is a animated show. It's like, I think it's like 6 or 7 animated shorts that take place in the Vought universe. Whatever. It's called Diabolical. And it is basically like as advertised. It's 6 or 7 animated shorts. Some of them have characters from the show in them. I think the Deep shows up. Homelander shows up at the end. He's in one. There might be 1 or 2 other characters from the show. I think actually Huey and what's his name? Carl Urban characters. Holy shit. Butcher.
Billy?
Yeah, Billy Butcher. Yeah, they show up in an episode. So it kind of like the first one is 100% like starts off like a Looney Tunes short. Like it is, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but it's very just like happy-go-lucky. And for the first like 5 or 6 minutes, it's just very like any violence is just kind of like cartoony violence. It's kind of silly or whatever. And then the second someone starts exhibiting signs of their power, people start getting like cut in half with laser beams and stuff. And there is actual, it's so funny to see like blood and gut and dismemberment type violence in like Looney Tunes style animation.
Right.
It's
like an innocent style, but something so hardcore and graphic.
Yes. But it is a pleasant, like if The Boys is a 4-course meal, it is a pleasant and light after dinner dessert. It's a quick, I think I watched all of it, and I think it's maybe an hour and 20 minutes long. It's not super long.
Are they interconnected, or are they all individual stories?
It's like an anthology. They're all individual. It's not like a running through line or anything. They all have different animation styles, which is really cool. One that like some are meant to be all funny, some are funny with like a heartfelt ending. There's one that's actually like borderline will make you cry, about this kind of old couple that's dealing with like cancer and stuff, and Vought and Compound V comes into the mix, and of course that turns into a whole thing. There's some really like oddly like beautifully animated and represented scenes in that in the series. So I definitely like I said, I was kind of jonesing for more Boys stuff after I finished it. And that was an easy, just kind of like very palatable, very funny, and very fun way to kind of keep it around, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm all in, man. I'm hoping I can finish. I bet I can get caught up by the next time. I would like to have just like a spoiler, just talk about everything that happened, conversation. So maybe next week we can do that.
Yeah, Boys spoiler cast, that'd be fun.
I can't believe it took us so long to. This is right up our alley, man.
I know, man.
I don't know how we avoided it for so long.
I think for me it was the memes. Like the memes kept popping up, and I kept seeing I had a lot of the show already. Kind of like, it's like you start hearing stuff and seeing stuff, and you're like, oh, I saw this in a TikTok. Oh,
yeah.
This was a sound, like the part where I think you've already seen it, but it's where it's Homelander's birthday special, and he finally kind of snaps, and he's just like, I'm smarter, I'm better. I am better. Like that was a TikTok sound for a long time, and I finally saw it, and I was like, oh,
you know what? I feel like I've heard that. I didn't make that connection. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I am better. That's him. Yeah. Or there's another. I think it's from season 2 actually, where he slaps the blind guy, or the blind guy who sees with his ears. He slaps him and basically renders him powerless, and Ashley's like freaking out, and he's like, Ashley, look at me. Like that's a big like sound from that show that I was like, oh yeah, okay, all right. So anyway, Diabolical on Amazon Prime is very
diabolical. Dude, Billy the Butcher's character, I could watch him all day, man. His sayings and his accent are so good.
I will tell you this. I know we don't talk too much Metal Gear Solid on here, but my pick for Solid Snake in the movies, Carl Urban. Fucking Billy Butcher, man. I think he would smash And the reason is he can play like dark and grisly and kind of like rough like Solid Snake, but he can also do like British, which is like Liquid Snake. Oh, it's lightning again.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get stormed out here.
No, he's great. He's very great.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my crushage. I'll keep mine short this week.
Kind of hog the mic on that. Well,
that's all right.
You want meat time, steak time, filet mignon, time?
Yeah, just a lot of meal courses talking on this episode. Yeah. I guess I'll kind of kick us off because, like I said, we didn't really come into the episode with anything in particular we wanted to talk about, but we have been talking a lot off pod about where we're going and what we're trying to do. And I think the bottom line for me is the show's going to keep going. As long as we both are able. Like, it's a great touch point for us each week. We enjoy doing it. Cody had a baby recently. I moved, and then other stuff happened, and it has been a crazy season. So I don't feel like either of us has really had the bandwidth this summer to just like amp up efforts, right? Like get more content, and like we've talked about doing Patreon type content, which I still want to do. I had tossed around the idea to Cody about doing, because since he's never played Metal Gear Solid before, like, hey, let you do that. I'll watch you play it, and then we'll talk about it. That's a great, I think, maybe some premium content that we could offer that's kind of aside from our regular offering. But yeah, like as far as an actual direction for the show, I don't think we ever really had one to begin with. I think we were always just going to kind of let it be what it's going to be. However, I think, we do want it to grow, and we do want people to come to the show and more people to participate and write in and stuff. So I think it's in our best interest to maybe find that focus and try to, I guess, assign some purpose to this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think it would almost make it easier week to week also, knowing where to look and what to look for.
Right.
When you're, when you kind of cover anything and everything, it's tough to know where to look, to find content for the show. Cause it's just like, I don't have a source, a specific source that we necessarily go to, or a specific segment or category. It's kind of just like things that pop up or whatever. So I think that would be helpful. I think you summed it up for me pretty well. I'm no less enthusiastic or excited or willing to do this than I was from day one. I think just having a little bit more focus on where to shift that energy, is kind of where I've been trying to think lately about where to go with it. So, I guess this is us just kind of asking, instead of this being a behind the scenes conversation, we do have people that listen each week very loyally, and we're very appreciative. And so those people, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on what we're doing currently. Your thoughts on like kind of keeping it broad topic versus something more specific and more niche each week. Turning it into this type of podcast or that type of podcast, or do you enjoy kind of the broader approach that we take, the loosey-goosey, fire from the hip? Yeah. Do you like that, or would you like it to be more focused? And if more focused, maybe what are some things or ideas that you guys have that you think it would be interesting for us to kind of take in that direction?
Right. I'd had thoughts like even before we got started several months ago, back in November. Holy shit. Seems like forever ago.
Dude, we're closer to a year than not.
I know. That's wild to think about. Like 15, 14 weeks, something like that. Episode 36. So haven't missed a week, by the way. That has been one thing that I am probably most proud of.
Yeah.
We get in this chair and we make it happen each week. I'd had the thought before we even got rolling, like, should it be a video game show? Well, there's already a ton of those, right? And also Cody and I love video games, but for one, we don't play all the time. I'm actually not playing a ton right now. I know Cody has been kind of tickling the Callisto Protocol from time to. Have you finished that, by the way?
Nope, I haven't.
See, just
no.
tick.
Usually Saturday nights are kind of my night to game, and man, I barely got any sleep over the weekend, so Saturday night, Joe stuff, just go to sleep.
There you go. Yeah.
But I haven't stopped playing it. I just haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. But that's how we play games, like we will ebb in and out of seasons where we're playing a lot. And I think the last thing we want to do is turn it into homework, right? Like, hey, you have to play this game, right?
Right.
Now, I have no delusions. Like, picking a niche like this probably does imply some homework, right? Like, if we're going to talk about or review or discuss or do whatever it is that we end up deciding that we're going to do, it absolutely, like, it's going to involve, like, hey, we need to watch this movie so we can talk about it, or we got to watch this YouTube video so we know what's going on. Or I'm going to watch one and then bring you in cold on it, like we did with like Vagrant Holiday.
But ideally, it wouldn't be something we have to go way out of our way from what we're normally doing already.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of why we've stayed where we're at, is because we're both always kind of consuming media and also just kind of like taking part in life. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways where, I think there's a lot of directions we could take. We've had entire episodes about video games. We've had entire episodes about YouTube series. We've had entire episodes about
movies,
music,
shows, music.
Yeah, music that we like, and movies and stuff. So, and all of those seem really fun, and it seems like the more dialed in we are on a topic, the more interested people are from a reaction and engagement standpoint. But yeah, it's kind of a stumper. I think there is value in looking at it on kind of a rotational basis. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it is a thing where instead of saying we're just movies, we're just video games, we're just music, we rotate those and we say, hey, it's a movie week. Let's talk about a movie that we've watched or that we like. Obviously, like, the whole purpose behind What Are You Crushing is, what are you enjoying right now that you just wanted to go get, right? Yeah. Whether that's a book, movie, video game, whatever, song. But yeah, I think maybe, at the end of the day, I do this for fun, and I do this to, as a way to, I guess from being a creator, it's not, I told Cody from the jump, I said, I never want it to be the Onexpunchxdad show, and I know there are a lot of people that came here because they knew who I am, and that's cool. There are some people here who didn't. They were like, hey, isn't that the guy from TikTok? And that's neat too. That's really cool. I like that. And we're glad you're here also. But I'm pretty vehemently, if anything, I'm really just against it being about me, because it's not. Cody is 100. I mean, well, he's 50% of this operation. A lot of times he is shouldering the major behind the scene load. He's editing and uploading and looking for ways to. I mean, like, our entire process has been all but completely streamlined thanks to Cody. So I take that back. He's way more than 50% actually. No. So I am torn, but I think I see the value in trying to drill down a little bit. I don't know.
I feel like we could. It doesn't necessarily have to be. We are very specific on one thing and we don't stray from it, or we're like I do like the variety of kind of bringing stuff to the show that we're enjoying that week. And it doesn't have to fit a specific mold necessarily. And so a lot of like videos I watch and podcasts, they are a fill in the blank podcast. But from start to finish, that's not all they're talking about.
Right.
So I feel like we could have this is the type of podcast we are. This is the main thing that we bring each week. But we still, surrounding that, have our kind of introductory conversation where, who knows where that's going to go from week to week. And we still have What Are You Crushing? And those two things don't necessarily have to fit whatever the main thing is that we are. And the thought is that the main thing will kind of draw people here, and then they end up liking us, or liking to listen to us.
Yeah.
And then they'll start to listen to the other parts of the episode, which is more kind of centered around just us and things that we like. Like there's one YouTube channel that I watch where like the title of his video is this, but it'll be a 15 or 20 minute vlog. And it'll just be him like going throughout his day, doing this, doing that. But as he's doing those things, he will talk about whatever the main topic is, you know? So it's not like the video starts and he's like right on that topic. And then the entire duration of that video is focused on that one thing. And I end up watching him because I like the topic, whatever the topic of the video is. But I've come to like just him kind of going through his day and doing different stuff. So I'm there for that too. But I'm also the thing that made me click was whatever the main thing was. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally. And I think for me, like, it's like you said it, right? Like, one of my favorite podcasts is a video game podcast called Get Played, which is a video game podcast. They just play games and talk about them. It's very funny. I really like that show. They talk about all kinds of other stuff on that show. They talk about movies. They talk about books they're reading. They talk about comedy. All, you know, it spans the spectrum. It all does tend to come back to video games, obviously. Like that's their meat, right? That's what they're there to do. For me, I think it's just the power of a good recommendation. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that are in my life because someone was like, "Hey, you should check this out. It's really cool." You know,
right?
And a fraction of those things are things that I gathered from like podcasts. You know what I mean? Like, not in the Joe Rogan DMT sense. You know what I mean? But like. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, I started, you know, tracking my macros, or I started, hey, there's a show that's really great. A lot of shows that I watch, you know, I hear about them through like other podcasts, you know, talking about like, hey man, you got to check this out, you know. And I'll say this, like Cody and I are not deep cut dudes. Like we like underground music, I'll say that, but even the underground music, like what does that even mean anymore? Like most of the metalcore bands I like, they're pretty dang, you know, like
within that scene.
Yeah, right. Like hardcore music, I guess, is probably better. It used to be called underground. Now that doesn't mean anything. But we're not like deep. But we're talking about one of the biggest shows on Amazon Prime. You know, like we're, you know, a video game. You know, like we love Red Dead Redemption 2. That sold like 50 million units. You know, it's made billions of dollars over the span that it's been out.
Right.
We're not deep.
We like the good stuff.
We like the good stuff. You know, I'm just fine eating at Chili's. I'll go to B-dubs. I don't care.
We're chain guys.
Yeah. Let's call it what it is, man. Like, so, you know.
That'd be a funny name. The chain guys.
The chain guys, you know. I guess if anything, like, you know, maybe this is a multiple weeks investigation that we have to conduct to try to get to the bottom of it. But what I hope for you, the listener, is that you come here and you do feel encouraged and you do feel a kind of kinship. I think there's a word for that, like feeling like you're friends with the podcast people that you're listening to. There's a word for it. I can't remember it. But I've absolutely felt it with the podcasts I enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope you're able to feel that here. I hope you feel like you've got a couple friends in us, and I mean, certainly if we ever meet you out in the wild, like full send, let's take a pic and share a hug and, you know, maybe take it farther, you know, just kidding. But yeah, you know, like that's the main thing, is just like feeling like you got two guys who maybe are good at articulating why they enjoy the good stuff.
Yeah.
Which I do think we do well. Like we can take one thing and take an hour and lay it out and talk about why we like it. And I like that.
I can get excited about something.
Yeah. And next week, it sounds like we're doing that with the boys. So.
Yep. No, I agree. This won't be solved by next week. It can be an ongoing conversation. But the whole point was to kind of drum up some maybe conversation with the listeners. You know, we don't only do it for the people listening. I know we both enjoy doing this, and I think you have to do it week in and week out. But who better to tell you the state of things, maybe, or the perception of things, or even where somebody would hope for things to go? Who better to say, tell you that than the people listening each week? So
yeah,
instead of this, doesn't necessarily have to be a closed door between Josh and I only conversation.
Yeah.
Take a poll in the field a little bit and take a temperature.
We turn our thoughts and our ears to you, the listener.
Yeah.
So
feel free to DM us, comment, email, whatever you feel comfortable with. But we would love to hear, throw in the Discord chat, whatever.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on the state of things and the future direction and everything like that.
Absolutely. Glad we did that. I feel better.
I feel lighter. I'm about to float off this chair.
You gonna hit a couple questions before we call it?
Yeah, let's do it. I saw some good ones in there.
Some goodies. Well, there went our video feed. Sorry, hang on. Rats. Well, maybe you should read them.
Okay. Can you still see me?
I can still see you.
Okay. I think this is a really good one. And man, I don't know that I have an answer ready, but it's a great question.
All right.
From Brave Athos. Excluding any that are recent or in the works, pick one game to get a re-release. This can either be a faithful remake or a creative top-to-bottom remake. He said akin to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I already have an answer locked and cocked, actually.
Well, go ahead, because I feel like there's an answer somewhere inside me.
Yeah.
I just don't have it off the top of my head, so go ahead.
One of my favorite PlayStation 1 games of all time that isn't Metal Gear Solid, and I know that's what y'all thought I was going to say, is a tactical shooter called Siphon Filter.
Dude, Siphon Filter. Fucks, bro.
Siphon Filter was one of, that game crawled, and I mean crawled because it really is hard to go back to from a controls perspective. Crawled so that a lot of the great military tactical shooters we have today could run. That game was so much fun. It had such a great soundscape. It had, I'm a huge sucker for PS1 graphics. I love just the look of that. It's what my childhood looked like, right? I spent hours staring at it. And it's a pretty cool story. I mean, I don't know. Today, maybe it's white noise. It's just a typical, there's a virus and a secret government organization and there's a twist. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think at the time, all that stuff was kind of tacked on. But I would like to see that get maybe a facelift. You can buy it on the PlayStation Store now if you have a PS4, PS5.
Oh, nice.
So you can definitely still run it back if you got one of those. But I think it'd be cool to see, if not a re-release or reskin type thing, it would be cool to see that series get a reboot that retains the kind of the storytelling capability and brings in small elements from the PS1 game. I think that'd be cool. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't happened, that it hasn't gotten the dark Tomb Raider treatment, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know.
I am too. I played one on PSP. I had.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Omega Strain. No, that was a different one. I can't remember. I played the PSP one too.
Yeah, that one's cool. No, that's a good one. That's actually a really good answer. So I have two really quickly. The first one, and this is funny timing on this question. Do you ever have something pop into your brain? Were you done? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you ever have something pop into your brain of an old game or an old movie, and then you just go online and watch videos of it just to kind of I don't know. It was so long ago that you don't remember what it was actually like, so then you go check it out.
Yeah.
That ever happened?
Yeah.
Okay. That just happened to me 2 days ago with a game. I remember playing it a ton. I loved it. It was Ghost Recon 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was a PS2 or original Xbox game.
Okay.
And I remember it being very hard. I played it a lot. I just remember loving it, but it's obviously like a very linear game where there's different levels. It's a very traditional game, and like your health does not regenerate, and there's no health packs.
Yeah,
and it's just each level. There's a beginning and an end, and you have to reach the end with there's no way to regenerate your health at all. And I just remember it being very hard. And like 2 days ago, I went and looked up gameplay of that game, and it's very nostalgic. Like the opening graphics, opening cutscene, the menus, even the gameplay, like it all brings me way back. So that one would be really cool. Something very linear, and very difficult like that. Seeing just kind of get reskinned would be cool. The other one I just thought of, and this is on probably my top 10 favorite games of all time. I played it so much. It was Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Ah, yeah, that was a good one.
With the BMW, the blue and silver BMW.
Yep.
The M3. And what was so cool about it, there was the blacklist.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the game, you have that BMW in the beginning, and then it gets impounded or taken. You could race for pink slips in that game, which was, you race another car, and whoever wins, you get that car.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, that car gets taken. You start with a beater car, and there's 15 people on the blacklist. And the first person is the guy that has your BMW. So it was a racing game that had a story to it.
Yeah.
And you had to, to be able to race the next guy on the blacklist, you had to rack up so much XP and win so many games or whatever, then you would unlock that race. And then you could race that guy. And if you beat him, you would get his car, which was really cool. And then you would kind of rinse and repeat. You'd move on to the next blacklist. And the whole game is you trying to get back and get your car back.
Yeah. I remember
it was awesome, man.
What system was that? Was that PS2 for you as well?
That was PS2. Yeah. Original Xbox.
I'm trying to remember.
I think they ported to 360. I remember a 360 version, but it originally came out on like PS2 and Xbox.
I think that game was also on GameCube, and the only reason I remember that is because the drag racing part had it was the first. I know it's not the first one to do it, but it was the first racing game I played where I actually really enjoyed the manual like shifting during the drag races. So it had like the whole thing where like you had to hold down the L button, press one of the other buttons, and that was a shift, and you would get like a good too early or too late on your shifting or whatever. But
like a timing thing.
Yeah, but you wanted to try to like keep it in that sweet spot so you could win the race and stuff. So, and that was the first time I'd ever really played a racing game like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big car game guy, but I do remember that one.
It was different, man. Like the music in that game, and I just remember spending so much time like customizing your car. You could get body kits and wings and paint it and put graphics and wheels and NOS and all that shit.
Yeah.
And the cops, dude. Like running from the cops, you had to get your bounty up to a certain amount and then lose them successfully.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember that being some of the most tense gameplay ever. It was so much fun. Need for Speed, Most Wanted. Remake that game, please.
Nice. Bring it
Just
back.
better graphics. Don't change anything. Just better graphics.
Bring it back.
Great question, Brave Athos. That was awesome. Let's hit up one more at least. Unhinged Cactus. Are they new?
That sounds new to me. Welcome,
Unhinged Cactus.
Unhinged Cactus.
Interesting question. How far is too far for VR? Are you willing to truly experience the microwave from Metal Gear Solid in exchange to feel like you're really piloting Metal Gear Rex? I don't know.
I don't understand the microwave piece. Like I understand the microwave in Metal Gear Solid 4.
What happens?
There's a scene in Metal Gear Solid 4. It's towards the end. It's after you pilot Rex. I don't understand that, but you have to crawl. Well, you start walking, but there's this long hallway that's guarding this like basically the AI that is kind of like driving all the bad stuff that's happening.
Right.
You have to go down this hallway, and it's protected by this like array of microwave emitting antenna. And Snake is like dying already, so he's like, "I'll go," and he like starts walking, and it's like this thing where you're like mashing triangle, and he's like crawling.
Right.
It's actually super emotional, and you can kind of like see what else is going on in this big like glass stand. Anyway,
so that's what he says. how far is too far for VR? Like VR in the future, if you were, it's so real that you're actually experiencing all the senses, pain included. Like, are you willing to go through that to be able to actually pilot Metal Gear Rex? Like, would you game in that fashion, or is that too far?
So I've thought about this because I think we've talked about on a previous episode where I am 100% like, I guess, I don't know, just like a crazy like sheep in this way, but the second they can put like a little button on my temple and my eyes roll back and I'm in the pilot seat or holding the gun or whatever, let's go. I'm all about it. I do not care. Like, the last thing I want to do is linger in this reality. Yeah. So like, there's different ways to look at that, I guess. Like, if you think about like haptics and like how death would be represented in a world where you are like essentially like, to you it feels real. Yeah. Is it like a thing where you just feel like I'm shot and then I like have no control, I fall over, Right. Or is it a thing where I can actually like go in and mess around with my pain receptors and tell my body that I am dying or I am burning or whatever, getting hurt or getting killed. So I would never go that far, honestly. Like, games are always going to be an escape for me, and I'm not a pain for pleasure type of dude. So I think I'm all about piloting Metal Gear Rex, less so about crawling through the microwave hallway.
Pretty good question. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. Have you seen 3 Body Problem?
I still have not watched 3 Body Problem.
There's this part where they put this like helmet on and it transports you. It's supposed to be like you're in a game, like a not an actual, what am I trying to say? Like, it's not reality.
Gotcha.
But everybody that puts it on, like, it's so real that they're like, this, whatever, the technology can't exist, but it's like, it's as real as if it were really happening. So it just kind of reminded me of that.
Nice. I still need to watch that.
Give me all the realism. I think were you going to say that'll do it?
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to do it. It's all
right. I was going to say, yes, that will. We have a couple more really good ones, but I think we ran long. So I was going to say, just if you didn't hear yours this week, hang on. We'll get to it next week.
We're going to save them. We're going to sit on them, and we'll do a big reading after our big boys spoiler cast next week. So catch up on the boys. Get it all watched up so that you can follow along with us.
You have 1 week.
You got 1 week. You better get going. But yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. Hey, in the description for our episodes, there is a link to our Discord. There's a channel on our Discord called Questions for Podcasts. Hop in that thing. Leave us something good. Let's talk. And also, feedback. Where do you think the show's going? You think we're doing good? Do you think we need to tighten up? Dial in. Let us know what you think.
Please do.
Please do.
If you don't, you may never see us again.
That's true. We'll just leave, vanish like a ghost in the night.
You won't hear the boys spoiler cast.
Yeah, you'll miss it.
What a tragedy.
Thank you for listening. Baja blessings upon your little head. I gotta let my cat out of here. She's about to lose her mind. See you next week.